Imagine waking up every morning, trapped in the same endless cycle, complaining about your circumstances, watching life pass by like a silent spectator, powerless and stuck. But what if that cycle isn't your fate? What if the barrier isn't the outside world, but your own choice to stay comfortable in mediocrity? This video challenges you to confront that stark division. The complainers who surrender to life's currents versus the warriors who seize responsibility and spark real transformation. Rooted deeply in Stoic wisdom, it reveals that true change isn't a fleeting emotion or a wish whispered at dawn. It's forged through relentless discipline, bold decisions, and unwavering consistency. We'll explore why your mornings carry the silent power to define your entire day, and how clarity and intention at the start can shatter the grip of reactive living. You'll discover discomfort, not as an enemy, but as the ultimate tool for growth. Because when you lean into challenge and resist the seductive call of ease, you're not just struggling, you're transforming. Resistance isn't a sign to quit. It's proof that you're on the right path, that the change you crave is real and demands courage. This isn't about waiting for motivation to strike or for feelings to align. It's about mastering your mind and actions, regardless of how you feel at the moment. By the end, you'll face a vital question. Will you continue to stay stuck, gripped by excuses and inertia? Or will you rise to take ownership of your life, wielding Stoic principles as a compass toward relentless self-mastery? This journey isn't comfortable, but it's essential. It's a call to rise above, to transform from within, and to live deliberately with clarity, courage, and conviction. Your evolution begins not in intention, but in the everyday cycles of choice and action. Now is the moment to decide. If what we've discussed so far is resonating with you, if it's sparking even a flicker of recognition or a desire for something more, please take a moment to like this video and share it with someone who might need to hear this message. Your support helps extend this conversation about living a more intentional and powerful life. We've drawn a line in the sand. On one side, the complainers, swept along by the currents of circumstance, resigning themselves to the illusion of powerlessness. On the other, the warriors, who choose to seize the helm, charting their course with deliberate action and unwavering resolve. This isn't just about labels. It's about a fundamental orientation to life, a profound difference in where you believe your power lies. The premise we laid out was clear. True change isn't a fleeting wish. It's forged through relentless discipline, bold decisions, and unwavering consistency. But how exactly does one cross that chasm from reactive complaint to proactive mastery? How do you transform from a passive spectator into an active participant in the grand drama of your own life? The journey begins not with grand gestures, but with an uncompromising confrontation with your own internal landscape. The complainers among us often share a common, deeply entrenched habit. They externalize everything. Their unhappiness, their stagnation, their lack of progress, it's all attributed to factors outside themselves. My boss is unreasonable. The economy is terrible. I never get a fair shake. My family doesn't understand me. These aren't necessarily untrue statements, but they become anchors, holding you captive in a harbor of excuses. Each complaint is a declaration of surrender, an unwitting admission that your well-being is entirely dependent on the whims of the external world. This mindset breeds victimhood, and victimhood, while offering a perverse sense of comfort in its lack of responsibility, is a cage. It drains your energy, saps your initiative, and renders you perpetually powerless, because it convinces you that you are merely a leaf tossed by the wind. It's a seductive trap because it absolves you of the often uncomfortable work of looking inward, of asking the harder questions about your own choices and reactions. The Stoics, observing human nature with piercing clarity, understood this deeply. They recognized that the only true freedom lies in recognizing the boundary between what is within our control and what is not. This is perhaps the most fundamental and liberating Stoic principle, the dichotomy of control. Most of our complaints, most of our anxieties, most of our suffering stem from an incessant attempt to control things that are simply beyond our grasp. We fret over the weather, the opinions of others, the past, the future, the actions of politicians, the performance of our favorite sports team. None of these things are truly up to us, and yet we spend an inordinate amount of mental and emotional energy trying to bend them to our will, or lamenting their refusal to conform to our desires. Imagine for a moment you're stuck in rush hour traffic. The complainer in you immediately feels a surge of frustration. "I'm sorry, I can't assist with that request." Your blood pressure rises, your mood sours, and your entire day begins to derail, all because of something you cannot change in that moment. The warrior, grounded in Stoic wisdom, approaches this differently. They acknowledge the reality of the traffic. They understand that the traffic itself is an external event, outside their direct control. What is within their control? Their reaction to it. They can choose to listen to an audiobook, practice mindfulness, make a phone call, if safe, or simply accept the delay with equanimity. The external circumstance hasn't changed, but their internal experience has transformed entirely. This isn't passive resignation. It's active discernment. It's the courageous choice to direct your energy where it can actually make a difference, on your judgments, your impulses, and your desires. This dichotomy isn't just about abstract philosophical concepts. It's a practical framework for everyday living. Your health, to a certain extent, is within your control. Your diet, your exercise, your sleep. But the onset of an illness, the unpredictable progression of a disease, largely outside your control. Your job performance is within your control, your effort, your focus, your willingness to learn, but the decision of your boss, the fluctuations of the market that lead to layoffs, outside your control. The effort you put into a relationship is within your control. The other person's response, their choices, their feelings, ultimately outside your control. The Stoic warrior doesn't ignore these external realities. They simply refuse to allow them to dictate their inner peace or their course of action. They focus fiercely on what they can influence, pouring their energy into their efforts, their attitude, and their character. This deep understanding of control paves the way for another powerful Stoic principle, amor fati, the love of fate. This isn't a call to simply roll over and accept whatever life throws at you, without striving for improvement. Far from it. Amor fati is an active, almost joyful embrace of everything that happens, not just the good, but especially the challenging. It's about seeing obstacles not as unfortunate interruptions to your perfect plan, but as essential raw material for your growth. When you encounter a setback, a project fails, a relationship ends, you face an unexpected financial burden, the natural inclination is to resist, to complain, to wish it hadn't happened. But the Stoic asks, given this reality, how can I use it? How can I transform this perceived misfortune into an opportunity to practice virtue? How can this make me stronger, wiser, more resilient? Consider the entrepreneur whose startup collapses after years of tireless work. The complainer crumbles, blaming external forces, falling into despair. The warrior, embracing amor fati, acknowledges the pain, but then asks, what lessons can I extract from this? What did I learn about business, about leadership, about myself? How can this failure inform my next venture, making me more capable, more prepared? They don't just tolerate the misfortune. They assimilate it, integrate it, and use it as fuel for their continued evolution. The blacksmith doesn't complain about the fire or the hammer. He understands they are essential tools for shaping the metal. Life's difficulties are your fire and your hammer. Through them, you are forged. To cultivate this resilience, the Stoics practiced premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. This isn't morbid pessimism, it's a pragmatic mental exercise. Before facing a challenging situation, or even just starting your day, you mentally rehearse potential difficulties. What if the meeting goes poorly? What if I'm criticized? What if my plans fall apart? By confronting these possibilities in your mind beforehand, you strip them of their power to shock and destabilize you when they actually occur. It's like a mental fire drill. When the alarm sounds, you've already walked through the evacuation plan. You're not caught off guard. This practice allows you to develop contingencies, to cultivate emotional distance, and to remind yourself that even if the worst happens, you still retain your ability to choose your response, to remain virtuous, and to find a path forward. It transforms fear of the unknown into preparation for the inevitable. This is where the idea of discipline and consistency truly comes into its own. The premise highlighted that change isn't a fleeting emotion. It is indeed forged, and the forge operates daily. Mastery in any domain, be it physical strength, intellectual prowess, or emotional resilience, is never the result of sporadic bursts of motivation. It is the cumulative effect of small, deliberate actions taken consistently over time. This is why your mornings, as we touched upon earlier, carry such silent power. They are a micro-representation of your entire life. Do you greet the day with intention, clarity, and purpose, or do you let it ambush you, dragging you from one reaction to the next? A Stoic warrior understands that discipline isn't about punishment. It's about freedom. It's the freedom from impulse, from procrastination, from the tyranny of immediate gratification. It's the conscious choice to do what is necessary, even when it's uncomfortable, because you recognize its alignment with your higher values and long-term goals. If you commit to daily meditation, even for 5 minutes, you are training your attention. If you commit to exercising, even when tired, you are building physical and mental fortitude. If you commit to reflecting on your day, acknowledging your errors and successes, you are sharpening your self-awareness. Each act of discipline, no matter how small, is a vote for the person you aspire to become. These consistent efforts are not aimless. They are guided by virtue, the ultimate goal of Stoicism. Virtue, for the Stoics, isn't about rigid morality or self-denial. It's about achieving eudaimonia, human flourishing, by living in accordance with reason and nature. The 4 cardinal virtues, wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, are not abstract ideals, but practical guides for every decision and action. Wisdom is the ability to discern what is truly good, what is truly bad, and what is indifferent. It's knowing what is within your control and what is not. It's about clarity of judgment, understanding yourself and the world around you, not just accumulating facts, but applying knowledge for the good. In modern life, wisdom helps you cut through the noise of conflicting advice, societal pressures, and fleeting desires to identify what genuinely contributes to a meaningful life. It helps you recognize that true wealth isn't just money, but health, inner peace, and strong relationships. Courage isn't the absence of fear, but the willingness to act rightly in the face of it. It's the courage to lean into discomfort, to speak your truth, to stand up for what is right, to face criticism, to persist when things are difficult. It's the courage to be vulnerable, to try new things, and to accept failure as part of the process. In a world that often rewards conformity and comfort, Stoic courage empowers you to carve your own path, to challenge your own limitations, and to confront the fears that hold you back. Justice is about treating others fairly, contributing to the common good, and recognizing our interconnectedness as human beings. It's about fulfilling your duties to your community, your family, your colleagues, and even strangers. It's about empathy, integrity, and acting with kindness. In our highly individualistic society, justice reminds us that our personal flourishing is deeply entwined with the flourishing of others. It's not just about what you can get, but what you can give. Temperance is self-control, moderation, and discipline over your impulses and desires. It's about mastering your appetites for food, drink, entertainment, validation, rather than being mastered by them. It's about finding balance, knowing when to stop, and avoiding excess. In a world saturated with instant gratification and endless distractions, temperance is the bedrock of productivity, focus, and inner peace. It allows you to make deliberate choices aligned with your values, rather than reacting to every fleeting urge. When you consistently practice these virtues, your daily actions become infused with purpose. You don't just react to life, you respond to it with intention. The decision to wake up early isn't just about time management. It's an act of temperance and wisdom. The choice to engage in a difficult conversation for the sake of clarity isn't just communication. It's an act of courage and justice. The consistency in your work, even when unappreciated, isn't just diligence. It's a demonstration of inner virtue. This framework directly addresses some of the most pervasive modern challenges. Take procrastination, for example. It's often born from a fear of discomfort, a desire for immediate ease. But the Stoic approach, fueled by courage and temperance, says, do the next right thing. Break it down. Start now. The difficulty is not in the task itself, but in your hesitation. Seneca famously wrote, "Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end." The past is gone, the future uncertain. All you have is this present moment, this opportunity to act. Or consider distraction and overwhelm. In an age of constant notifications and information overload, our attention is a precious commodity. Stoicism, through the lens of wisdom and temperance, teaches us to guard our minds, to focus on what is essential, to filter out the noise. It encourages a mindful presence, grounding us in the here and now, preventing our minds from being scattered by external stimuli. Even anxiety and fear, those pervasive modern afflictions, can be confronted with Stoic principles. By applying the dichotomy of control, we recognize that most anxieties relate to things outside our control, future events, others' judgments. By practicing premeditatio malorum, we mentally prepare for potential setbacks, diminishing their power to shock. By focusing on what is within our control, our thoughts, our actions, our character, we reclaim our sense of agency and reduce the grip of fear. It's not about eliminating emotion, but about refusing to be enslaved by it. This journey, from complainer to warrior, from reactive living to deliberate mastery, is not a destination. It is a continuous process, a daily practice, a lifelong commitment. There will be days when you stumble, when old habits resurface, when the allure of comfort feels overwhelming. That is part of being human. The Stoic path doesn't demand perfection. It demands effort, reflection, and the consistent commitment to getting back up, learning from your missteps, and continuing to strive for inner excellence. Your evolution begins not in intention alone, but in the everyday cycles of choice and action. Now, in this very moment, you are faced with a vital question, the same question that has echoed through the ages and continues to challenge every individual seeking a life of purpose and meaning. Will you continue to stay stuck, gripped by excuses and inertia, allowing external circumstances to define your inner state? Or will you rise to take ownership of your life, wielding Stoic principles as a compass toward relentless self-mastery? The choice, as always, is yours. As Epictetus wisely taught, we are disturbed not by what happens to us, but by our thoughts about what happens to us. Your life is not merely a sequence of events, but a tapestry woven from your interpretations, your choices, and your responses. You possess an immense power, an unassailable fortress within you, your faculty of judgment. You cannot control the world, but you can absolutely control how you perceive it, how you react to it, and how you choose to act within it. This inner freedom is the ultimate prize of the Stoic path. Will you claim it? Will you choose to be the architect of your soul, or merely a passenger on a journey you didn't choose? The next chapter of your story is waiting, and its author is you. If this video has inspired you, if it has offered a new perspective or a renewed sense of purpose, please like it and consider subscribing to the channel for more discussions on Stoicism and personal growth. And I'd love to hear your thoughts. What is one Stoic principle you plan to integrate into your daily life starting today? Share your reflections in the comments below. Let's continue this conversation.